What is up, guys? My name is MipZ and welcome back for yet another League of Legends video. So today we are playing JHIN ADC. This video is primarily going to be focused on the decision making, the macro play and the play style of JHIN. So basically how you play this guy in the early, mid and late game, and basically kind of how you want to play around your team and what you want to focus on, and how you can kind of outmaneuver your enemies. So this video will not be focused on the abilities, the combos and all this stuff. I have already made a video for that one. The link is in the description for learning the abilities, combos, advanced combos, tips and tricks down below. So if you haven't watched that one, I can strongly recommend you guys to either watch it before or after this one, since it'll give you all the tools you need. And it also, if you watch it before this one, there are some stuff that you probably will notice, and you'll understand why we're doing things a certain way. So I can strongly recommend you go watch that one if you haven't watched it. But yeah, this one is primarily just going to be focused on decision making. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. If you do, then make sure to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you're not already a part of our awesome community. And if you want to see me live, then make sure to go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. I stream every single Friday. All right, so we're just leashing out for Shyvana real quick, walking down the lane. We are playing against a Misfortune and a Leona. So this is kind of an interesting lane. As soon as we get down lane, we want to use a Q on the melee minions. The reason why I want to do this is we want to see if we can get the level 2 power spike. We should be able to. JHIN is pretty awesome. Wow, we missed that one. He's pretty awesome at getting level 2 power spikes, because if you queue the melee minions just as you get into lane, then against almost every ADC you should be able to get the level 2 power spike. Some of the ADCs that you might struggle a little bit against are ADCs such as Kai'Sa, Lucian, and basically like Draven, these kind of champs that are really aggressive champs. They can be quite hard for JHIN, but in general, most other champs you should be doing pretty well against. So the first thing you want to do when you get into lane, or actually you can do this in the pre-game as well, is you want to kind of look at what you're playing against and try and kind of figure out what are the win conditions for you in your lane. So looking at what we're playing against here, we're playing against a Misfortune and a Leona. So we know from their comp that what they really want to do is they want to go for all-in plays. And that's also what they're doing right here. So that is what we want to try and avoid as much as we possibly can. They did screw up by wow, missed that word. They did screw up by going for a completely like mindless play by chasing really far after Karma, who can just pop movement speed, shields, etc., and I can damage them from afar. But generally speaking, against this combo, what their win condition is going for an all-in. They want to catch me with Leona, and then let's make sure we get this. They want to catch me with Leona and then just stun lock me till I'm dead. While oppositely, what we want to do with Karma is we want to try and poke them as much as possible from a distance until we get them into a reasonable like kill range, so we can go for an all-in. That is our win condition. And the way we're mostly going to be able to do this is by Karma poking the Misfortune and the Leona, most likely the Leona most of all, and then either if they go for a kind of off head play like they just did, then punish them, or go for one of my snares into a Karma snare and into just going for that way and all in before they can stun lock me. Because the thing is, if that Leona gets to jump on me and Misfortune can follow up, then most likely I will die. So what we want to do, and you can basically see this is what they want to do. They will win these trades if they catch me. One thing you gotta be aware of when playing JHIN is basically that you don't pick JHIN to win laning phase. I'm not saying you're not, I'm not saying you're not going to. Against a lot of things you are, especially at this state that JHIN is in, because he's really good at the moment. But what you gotta kind of think about, we can actually punish this, because this girl is all by herself now. We'll back out again. We should be able to win this. There we go. Sweet. Thank you. But what you got to think about is, like, JHIN, you don't pick this guy to win the early game. You can win early game for sure, but he scales really well into mid and late game. So this is actually the primary reason why you pick him. Also because he's super fun. But what you can see right here is just we play around or win conditions. That's where you kind of got to evaluate. And you actually need to do this on all ADCs, whatever ADC you play. Always try and think about, okay, what are my enemies' win conditions? And then try and evaluate what is your own win conditions in laning phase. All right, we'll back out here. This is quite important because it's going to make all the games a lot easier for you. When playing here in lane, then one of the really good things to do and a really good routine is that you make sure that you use your E. If you push the lane, then pop your E around this area, depending on where you evaluate that the enemy jungle is going to be coming from. Because if you put your E down here, it means that he's going to have to run through that one. He's going to be slowed and it's going to give you some extra time to back off. Of course, you still kind of want to stay safe in lane. So of course, don't just pop those and be like, I'm safe now. You're not, but it's going to give you a bit more time to react, and also gonna give your jungler a bit more time if he's close by. So make sure that you kind of use this to your advantage. Here in the laning phase, also what we want to do is we want to think about trying to poke with our Q by using it on the back minions as Misfortune gets close to the ranged minions. If we use our Q on that one, it is going to jump onto Misfortune, and if we then kill one of these targets, then it's also going to increase the damage of the grenades. So we kind of want to look for that. But the thing is, due to the combo that we're playing against here with Misfortune, it might be a little harder because going for this poke will potentially leave us in a vulnerable position for the owners to jump onto us. So it's something that we gotta be kind of careful with. We can just see the owners coming up behind us here. This is definitely... We're gonna be able to just... We're holding on to our abilities to try and see if we can catch people. Whoop. We do have ult as they go under. This was actually a really bad play, but she's going to jump back in, which is actually just suicided. So I guess I'm going to say thank you for that. Because I actually messed that up really bad. I should have walked a couple of meters back or a couple of feet back, such that I was outside Lona's jump range and then used my ult. That was actually a pretty big misplay by me. We should... Oh, crap. Cannot believe I missed that shot. All right, we're going to be a little careful here because I do believe that more people are coming down here. I don't see their mid laner, and their bot lane should be back fairly soon. So we'll back off this. Overall a good start in the lane. We already have 5 kills. Our CS is a little bit off, but that is to be expected because it's one of my first games today. So I kind of got to go get warmed up. But yeah. I hope this kind of makes sense to you, that this is kind of what we want to do. So we want to try and poke our opponents down in this lane as much as we can. So every time you go into a game, try and evaluate, is this a poke or an all-in combo that you're playing? When you're going for an all-in, then ideally either wait for your support. This is generally what you want to do. Want to let them set up the kill. So you just kind of chain your W with their... with the crowd control that your support just put on the enemy target. And if you want to start engages, then what you can do is you can go for either a Q on a back minion and then hit a W on that target, which is then going to allow your support to jump onto the target. If you're within auto attack range, then of course you can do a final shot. This is ideal that you use your final shot as the starter. It's going to give you a big burst of damage. So you do your final auto attack shot into an instant W and Q, or into a QW for that matter. This is really going to optimize your damage as you engage, and it's going to set you off on the right foot for the engage. But again, you have to be careful because you do need to know whether or not you will win that fight. Like if we did that straight away, in the early game on Misfortune that I just went in there, went for a final shot into QW on her, then yes, I would do a lot of damage on her. Karma would be able to snare, but I would probably lose that engage because we only have snares, and Leona would jump onto me. I would get stunned, and we would actually end up losing that fight pretty significantly, just by the nature of the combos and not because you're playing bad as such. All right, so Graves is currently top side. I am pretty fit, so we are gonna kind of take advantage of this and try and poke a little bit. See, oh wow. And we need to start thinking. I don't see Diana, so this is something that I need to be a little worried about. I'm not 100% sure whether or not. Okay, she is coming up behind us. Gonna put this one down. I'm gonna keep some distance, and I'm just gonna do whatever I can to kind of minimize. Oh, whoop, I actually failed this really bad. I might still be able to get out, but it's gonna be really close. All right, yeah, I'm not gonna get out. I actually failed this really bad because I should have backed out right there. I could have used ult at distance once I'm safe to kind of try and use my ult as a slow effect onto our enemy team or onto the enemy players in kind of an attempt to save Karma. But as we saw this Diana walking down here, we should have backed 100% out. I did try and put my E's down to kind of buy us a bit more time, and it did, but I still went too close to Diana. I did not respect her jump range, and this kind of ended up killing me. And yeah, we could definitely have done this a lot better. But so far, it's still okay. We are 5-1. Our CS is a little bit off, but it's okay. Like, it is not terrible. Well, but I do miss a lot of CS that I should not be missing. All right, so with JHIN also, especially here as we move into the mid game and also kind of in the early game, you need to be aware of it. Make sure that you kind of keep an eye around the map. See if your jungler needs like a W. Your W does have an insanely long range, so you can very easily take advantage of this and actually help people out. Like if your jungle gets counter jungled, yes, maybe you won't be able to get in there in time, or in some cases you will have to, but my point being that you can actually just walk halfway in there and hit your W and actually already help him from a really far. So this is something that you want to think about, is that your W has an extremely long range, so make use of this. And with your traps, you generally never want to place them on the minion track, if that makes sense. So where the minions are walking. The reason for this is they're just going to explode them, and it doesn't really give you much, except if you want to shove the lane, then they can help you do that. But generally speaking, put them to avoid getting ganked, or put them if you're playing against something like a Twitch or something. It can be a really big advantage to put it in a bush, such that you can see whenever he tries to get close to you through a bush or something. So using them on bushes is also a really good idea. Right here, we need to be a little careful. We know Leona's right here. They're clearing out vision. I can take this minion, but I'm going to have to back off because they will go for an all-in if I don't back out. And you can just see, again, kind of these traps buying us a little bit of time. So this is something that is really nice. One of the things, as I shortly mentioned, is that JHIN is, as I said, not a champ that you pick to kind of strive in the early game. Like, you can do really well with him in early game, but even if you go even in the early game, in the laning phase, then that is actually a victory for you. Wow, I cannot believe I missed that. That was terrible. Even if you go even in the early game, in the laning phase, then you can actually consider that a winning lane, because you are a hard scaling champion. So you don't need to go 10-0 in the early game. It does not matter. That is not the reason why you are picking her or picking him. You're picking him for the late game. So remember that when playing, it's better to stay a little safe, survive, and go even with your opponent than it is to go for a risky play, because you are anyway probably gonna outscale him as we go into the mid and late game. Okay, so he's going for an engage. I don't really see why. So we're not going to be able to kill this guy, most likely. We are going to be able to shove this. With these minions, we have a final shot we really want to use. We're actually going to use it on this turret here. Alright, we're going to have to be a little careful. We can finish our collector, so we actually want to start thinking about getting it back in here. I don't have a ton of mana. We could stay in lane here, but I think these guys are going to be a little careful, and she's not going to hard shove. So I am just going to back real quick. I'm going to get whatever I can. Actually, we'll buy this and 2 of those instead to optimize the amount of damage that we get. So let's run back down in lane. We're 5-1. We have 120 CS. We're at this point starting to go into the mid to late game. Pretty soon as we get this turret down, it is going to transist, and we're going to start moving into the mid into the mid lane. And we're going to kind of hopefully or mid laner will start going to the bot lane to keep his CS up as well, so we don't fight around it. If you are playing at lower elos, then it can be a big advantage to go to the side lane and keep your CS yourself that way. But generally speaking, your mid laner should hopefully move to the side lane as you go in there. But yeah, make sure as you transist into the mid and late game that you keep your CS up. This is one of the primary errors I see in general for ADCs, is that as they move into mid and late game, what basically happens is that they stop farming and they stop gaining a lot of CS. And this is actually super crucial for you. You gain a lot more gold through this stuff than you do by... should be able to take... Oh, crap. I'm gonna use my heal. There we go. Sweet. All right, I will be able to help out here. Hopefully. No, too late. Crap. All right, not my best play. We'll go up here already to help on Drake. It's quite important that we're here. And something that you also need to be aware of is make sure that you... There we go. Make sure that you use your backs before a big objective comes up. So let's say that we want to go for a Drake and Drake spawns in 30 seconds. Then make sure that you've backed out and used the gold that you're sitting on if you can get a big item or big component. Because if you sit on like 1,000 or 2,000 gold, it is not going to do anything for you. Like, gold is worth nothing prior to the moment that you've used it. So make sure that you get to use your gold before big objectives or before big fights, because this is actually one of the like very big mistakes a lot of people do, is they sit on their gold, and that might actually lose you a lot of the fights. Anyway, with JHIN, one of the things you've got to think about, especially going into mid to late game, is that you are still... Wow, holy. You are still a team fighter. I don't have heal yet. We are just going to try and put down some slow. Get in the way of everything. I don't see anything. We'll be able to snare that guy. I'm going to be a little careful. Stay behind my team. Kind of wait for things to escalate. Oh, I got a little too close there. Again, need to put down our slow. I have my ult again. Okay, sweet. All right, we should be able to push this turret at a pure minimum. Graves is still up, but we should be okay. All right, there we go. But yeah, as we go into the mid to late game, you need to consider the fact that you always need to stick with at least one teammate, especially if you are a lower elo player. Make sure that you kind of always run around with somebody. Generally speaking, you of course want to stick around with your support, have your support running with you, but you are very weak by yourself. You don't have any like real mobility, so make sure that you use your team, play around them. This is the only way to do really well on JHIN. Don't face check bushes if you can avoid it. Stick with your team as much as humanly possible. in fights, you wanna basically play what we call the backline, meaning that you want to have your tanky champs in front of you, and you want to stick close to whatever support you have. If it is a defensive support that stays on your line, if it is a tanky support that goes up in the face of your enemies, of course, don't go for that. But generally speaking, stay in the back line. Mostly that's going to be with your mid laner, and then kind of just damage whatever is closest to you. Use your utility, your snare, your ease in order to optimize time for you to kill a target, and also to catch people out of position for your team. Your W is a huge thing, and even if you're low HP, still think about you have long range on your W and you have long range on your ult, so use this. It is very, very important. So I just really want to emphasize that you on JHIN don't want to be wandering off on your own. You want to stick with your team or stick close to something that can keep you safe. So right there, we're waiting for... Ooh. All right. We should be able to catch her. There we go. Right here, we're just kind of waiting for Shyvana to hit an attack. Then we can use our W. She did then flash it in order to not get caught, but we were sitting on our ult, so we could just ult. And again, when you're ult, try and think kind of predictively of where are they walking. We knew for a fact she went into this bush, so she actually only had one place to run, and that was this way, unless she turned around as I ulted, which would mean that she would run into Shyvana, so that would not happen. So it's a very easy skill shot for me to just shoot down this lane right here and get a free kill. So really do consider these things. All right, we need to be a little careful. I have final shot here. It's going to be a free Baron at least. Can we get up here? Okay, this Garen is just absolutely smashing all of them, which is super. Okay, Drake's coming up, so we can go down, get free Drake. Potentially, we could also choose to go up, push the inhib turret. Maybe we would be able to do that, but the safer choice right here is just going for the Drake. And right now we're just sitting very nice and comfortable with our jungler and our support. So this is like the perfect thing for us. We have a front line to hang out behind, and we have our Karma to kind of cover us as well. So this is really, really nice for us. We are now sitting at 1500 gold, and all lanes are pushed in. And I don't want to go up here because I feel like this is kind of a risky play, even though this Garen is super fed. I don't want to go here. They can very easily jump onto me. I can't farm either of the lanes because they're fully pushed out, and all the big objectives are down. So instead, what we're going to do, we're just backing out, using our gold. So now we have the advantage of everything we've done as of lately. So now we can go up, we can stick behind our team. And if our team plays it right, yeah, okay, these guys actually just surrendered. But if our team played it right, we could just sit behind them, and we would actually probably be able to just push this to victory, force a fight through the mid lane or through the next objective spawning, and it would probably be GG anyway. But yeah, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this one. Sadly, the game was a little shorter than I expected, but I guess it kind of showed you everything that I wanted to explain with this. Like, JHIN is an amazing ADC. He's really fun to play. He's really, really good. But the mindset of JHIN is very much stay with your team as much as possible. You never want to be wandering off on your own. You want to make usage of your fourth shot as often as possible to poke people, and you want to make sure that you use it on the lowest HP target that is within range, because you do more damage on that target. So yeah, really think about this. Think about win conditions. But yeah, that is going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe down below. And yeah, if you want to see me live, make sure to go to twitch.tv/MipZ_live. I stream in there every single Friday. It's amazing. It's really fun. I love hanging out with you guys. It's really a blast. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. If you guys have anything you want to tell me, make sure to tell me in the comment section below. If there's a chat you want me to go through, then yeah, feel free to tell me. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, stay awesome, have fun, and take it easy, guys.